Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. Liftoff.
Hello. What is up, guys? Hunter Klein bringing you this week's episode of Interplanetary Monkeys. Y'all know the deal. This is episode number 51, approaching episode number 52, or the 1-year anniversary mark, guys. I couldn't be more excited. It's been a long road, but in the grand scheme of things, it is one short segment of a very, very long 10, 15-year journey, guys. I'm very serious when I talk about that. And I mean it. We're going to be doing this for a while. This isn't a short-term thing. This is a long-term thing. And I can't help but reflect on how the podcast has morphed over the last year alone. This podcast started out as a 5 to 10 minute short-form science information-based podcast. At around week 25, 26, I had a viewer reach out and say, you know, I miss the conversations on Curiosity, Hunter Klein. I miss the long form, playful conversation, Hunter Klein. Anybody can regurgitate scientific information and give it to the public. I think your ability is in free form conversation and having fun with words. So at week 26, we changed to this format, guys. Only 25 weeks ago, we started recording podcasts, not off of a script, not off of an information-based file, but right off the top of the head, and just about our observations of the world, trying to gather lessons from the world and our experiences around us. And we've come so far. Last week, we had a 50-minute episode. Guys, it feels good. We're changing a lot. And one thing I can see happening here in the near future is news becoming a bigger part of this podcast. So not your standard political CBN or CNN. I don't even know if yeah, I just combined CBS and CNN, but not your conventional, news channel, but more what's relevant in the world to me, right? I'm assuming if you guys listen to this podcast, we share similar values. We're into similar things. You kind of vibe with what we vibe with. We're just going to talk about what gets us excited in the world. We have found a producer that is going to come onto the podcast and join our team. This man's name is Ethan. And I found him because he is a listener of the podcast. Not only is he a listener of the podcast, but he believes in the podcast. He believes in this project. And I couldn't think of anyone better to come on and join our team. Now, is anything going to change about the podcast? Absolutely not. I'm still going to sit here and rant about the world. But we are going to add a news or current events segment to the end of the podcast, where Ethan is going to bring some news stories and present them, and we're going to talk about them together. Okay, so Ethan's going to be my assistant, the guy behind the computer, the guy that makes sure everything's running well, so I can kind of free up some headspace and get a little more creative on the project. So I'm really excited about this, guys. And yeah, I just want to take a moment to celebrate not only the last year, the last 51 weeks, but about where we're going and how much more growth there is to be had in this project. Because this is only the beginning. I hope you guys are all doing well. If you're feeling good, heck yeah, enjoy it. If you're feeling down, I hope you're battling through, trying to find your way back up. And if you're somewhere in the middle, I hope you're enjoying the ride, friend. It's been an all right week for me, guys. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, we've been talking a lot about masks. Last week, we talked about it a little bit. Sometime in the last month we have. And I ran into a new issue with masks, okay? Where vaccines are coming out, so we're about done with this discussion. I'm really going to milk this topic as much as I can before it leaves our world. But you have to be careful calling a chick hot if you've only seen her with a mask on, guys. I know this is pretty shallow. We're going to get real edgy here, real bro-ish, real chattish here, but it's the goddamn truth. Okay, I met this chick, all right? For about 2-3 weeks, I knew her. And I only saw her with the mask on, and I thought she was an absolute dime. I thought she was absolutely insane. The eyes, the eyebrows, the nose, the structure was all perfect. And I didn't know this was possible. This is what happened. When she took her mask off, things changed dramatically. And the best example I can find for this is if you've ever made a character in a video game, when you launch up NBA 2K or Madden My Player, and you get your hand at designing your character, the first thing you design generally is the face. Right? And every time I try to do this, I go in with this, I'm gonna make this character look fucking amazing. He's gonna look exactly like me. All right. And you start top to bottom, right? That's why this is so suitable for this example, for this woman. You start top to bottom. So I get to the eyes. I spend 15 minutes on the eyes. Perfect shape, right? This is exactly how I look. The color is on point. The eyebrows, fantastic. They morph perfectly. By the time I get to the nose, it's been about 35, 40 minutes. Okay. And halfway through this process of perfectly sizing up the nose, I say, you know what? I'm done with this. Who cares? I'm not even going to see my character's face. And I leave from the nose down absolutely default. It doesn't fit. It doesn't appeal to the human eye, guys. And that is what happened. What happens when some of these women or some of these men, if you're a woman listening, you can probably relate, take off that mask, reveal that bottom halfer. Right? It looks like the two don't match and the game changes. All right. So I got to be careful, right? I'm working at a restaurant. I see a lot of women and I'm on the prowl. Let's be honest. I'm a 23-year-old man. I'm on the prowl. I'm looking for women. Got to be real careful before we sign a judgment to, who's a likely candidate to be a partner of mine, because the masks can be deceiving. Okay, the mask can be deceiving. It's been crazy. The people that I work with specifically, it's just been crazy. I've known these people for around a month now with only masks on. When they take their masks off, guys, it looks like a completely different person. It looks like a completely different person. And it's just so crazy. Only knowing someone by half of their face, by their eyes, and maybe their nose. Maybe if it slips up, maybe if you've been talking a lot, it's kind of scoots down below your chin. You see the nose. But these people that have names and you just assign them eyes and eyebrows. And when that mask gets revealed, it's a whole nother world. It's a whole nother world, and it's absolutely insane, guys, but it's almost over. Just recently, the FDA here in America approved the Pfizer vaccine, which means it is 100% a go to be released to the public. We talked a couple weeks ago or last week, I lost track of time, about the order in which people are going to be given the vaccine. The elderly and those at high risk, those on the front lines as well, are going to be getting the vaccine first. Then I believe it's going to be focused mainly on the general population that's more at risk. So first, I kind of messed up the order there. First is going to be first responders, your doctors, your nurses, your people in the hospitals, your people that are currently sick. Next, probably a couple months down the road, let's be safe here and just say 3 months after that, we're going to get the at most risk in the population, those that aren't sick but have pre-existing conditions. And then let's be safe again around 6 months later. Us normal folk, us young, thriving folk will get the vaccine. And like we said before in our first discussion on this, it's probably going to be around, probably going to be mid-year, summer. Let's go with June, probably June. All right. So I'm excited, guys. I'm excited to get out and meet people. I'm excited to get out and meet women. I'm excited to start building this community. I'm excited to get out of this stagnant point in my life where things just don't seem like they're moving. And I don't even have it that bad. I've had progression in everything that I'm involved with, my passions, my pursuits. I've been moving along, but yet there's still this feeling of stagnation. There's something about moving, guys. There's something about going to an office for a meeting. There's something about going to a classroom to teach that adds value to a day, adds value to a week, a month. It gives you more purpose, gives you more energy. This movement, exploring different places, meeting people in person. There's value you get in those interactions and in those journeys that really isn't just in the room. As much as I like not having to do shit every day to work, as much as I like having to walk 6 feet from my bed over to my computer to get my job done, there are some detriments to this lifestyle. The duality of life. Here we go again. Back at it again. The double-edged sword. That is anything and everything, guys. So I'm excited to switch things up. I'm excited to get out of this groove. And I'm excited to get back to being a goddamn human. Let's go, family. We have to talk about Jake Paul. Wait, sorry, common misconception. Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather. Okay, this is a fight that is going to break the internet, and this is something that was previously thought to be impossible. For those of you that don't know, Floyd Mayweather is the greatest fighter to live on this planet at this moment, if not the greatest of all time. 50-0, undefeated, one of the greatest. This guy has money falling out of his house. It's literally falling out of his front door when he opens it. Is fighting Logan Paul, the previous YouTube star who is now branching out into culture and exploring different avenues. And this is nuts. Guys, one of the biggest misconceptions when talking about this with anybody and everybody is that Logan Paul, why would Floyd take this fight? Why would Floyd want to try his hand? Why would he want to risk losing to a YouTube star? Logan Paul, guys, has a lot to bring to this interaction. He has a lot of fans, whether you like him or not. Logan Paul has been working his ass off on the internet for damn near 10 years now, guys. He has millions and millions of fans. Every time he posts a YouTube video, there are little kids crawling across the globe to their computers to click on his snappy thumbnails, okay? I would be willing to bet that it is very possible that Logan Paul brings more value monetarily, more money to this fight than Floyd. I'm not kidding, guys. I'm not kidding. So it's crazy to see. When I saw the announcement, it was absolutely nuts to see. Holy shit. No one thought this was possible. But in hindsight, guys, it's not surprising. Floyd is retired. He's old. He's honestly probably just interested in getting money. This fight is most likely just a money grab. But goddamn, would it rattle the world if Floyd Mayweather lost this fight? I will say, guys, while we're on this topic, that Logan has a bad rap. We all know him from recording the suicide in the forest in, I can't remember what country, Japan, the suicide forest in Japan. Let's go with that. It was somewhere in the East. And yeah, he has a bad rap. A lot of people don't like him. He's a supervillain. I will tell you, while I don't readily watch his content, I do think that Logan is a great dude. I do think that he has a lot of a work ethic. I do think that he is at some level an inspiration, right? He's motivational. He has a good head on him now. He knows that he was stupid when he was young. And I know a lot of people, without knowing him or without listening to a single word of him talk in the last 2 years, will cast a judgment on him and say, nah, he's a shitty person. What an evil guy. Didn't he record that suicide in the forest? Guys, he's a lot more than that now. I don't mean to sound like a fanboy. I don't really enjoy his content. I think his podcast is very Hollywood, right? His Hollywood bubble. His podcast is really all about that. I don't think it's the healthiest for us average folk to listen to. But just because his podcast isn't for me doesn't mean he's a shitty guy. Just because I don't relate to everything he says doesn't mean he's a shitty guy. I think he's a good guy. I think he has good intentions. And I think he's a hardworking motherfucker, so you got to appreciate the man for that. Absolutely. So you best believe I'm going to be watching the fight. Hell, I might even throw down money on Logan in the case that he pulls away with this. I've never bet on anything in my life before, but I might do it because that would be a huge payout. I think he has like a 5% chance to win in the odds at the moment. I believe this fight's going to be February 20th. So tune in if you guys are interested. I'm probably going to pirate it. Might get in trouble for that. I don't want to pay for it, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited for it regardless, guys. It's going to be a spectacle at the very least. One of the biggest things on my mind recently, guys, is the fact that being 23 years old sucks. It sucks. And I'm going to start this with a blanket statement that I've been saying to damn near everyone I've run into the last 2 weeks of my life is I want to be 30. Right? How young man wants to get out of his young years. Guys, I feel like a 40-year-old man stuck in a 20-year-old's body. Think about the negatives of being in your early 20s. Okay, you're an official adult, but an adult at the bottom of the grown-up food chain. You're old enough to be considered an adult. You're old enough to be considered someone that needs to be responsible for bills, for rent, for insurance, for paying off everything and anything that your average grown-up would, but you're still young enough to be called a kid, okay? It's a lot like being a freshman in high school, but rather than it being 1 year out of 4, it's 5 or 10 years out of fucking 60 if you're lucky. It's just rough, guys. It's just rough. I can't help feel that the tag, the motto for every 23-year-old in the world is be patient. Every time I talk to a 23-year-old friend, 24, 25, it's always like I constantly always have to remind myself of how young I am. We have a lot of time left. And it's shitty to be in that spot. All right? As a young 20-year-old, your opinions don't mean as much compared to the older adult seniors of the world. Even though you're both in the same arena, playing on the same field. Even though these older folks may have no idea what they're talking about and you're right on the ball, it doesn't matter. Seniority takes the cake and we're at the bottom of the goddamn totem pole. We're at the bottom of the damn totem pole. One of the biggest reasons that I'm in this rut right now, this kind of negative thought towards my age and where I'm at in life, is because I'm tired of being patient, guys. I'm going to continue being patient, but I'm tired of being patient. Right? I want to fast forward 10 years with the habits that I've built, the discipline that I have, and I want to see what's at the end of the fucking road. I want to see what happens when we continue to release IP Monkeys episodes every week for the next 10 years. I want to get to that end. Right? I want to see what happens to my body when I keep working out damn near every day for the next 5-10 years. I want to get to the end of the road. And I know this isn't the best outlook. I'm aware enough to know that the beauty's in the climb, and when I'm at that end of the path there, that if I did fast forward 10 years, that I probably wouldn't be that happy that I missed the journey, the climb. But I'm just exhausted right now, guys. I'm absolutely goddamn exhausted by the journey of life at the moment. Not a lot of tangible results right now, but we're putting in a lot of work. There's a lot of input. There's a lot of input with little tangible output. So that's why I want to skip forward. It's just rough, guys. It's just a rough time. And quarantine is probably not helping. The recent move, guys, the move to Arizona, all these different things that I've talked about over the last couple weeks, more like the last couple months, these benefits that you get from taking leaps, the risky lifestyle, right? This idea that we get comfortable. We don't want to move. We don't want to leave our friend group. But we're 20 years old. We're in our early 20s. This is the best time to take risks, to take chances, to take leaps. We don't have a house that we have purchased in an area. We don't have a family. We don't have kids that we have to uproot from schools. We can just take leaps with very little repercussions outside ourselves and our mental state. And me doing this, I found a huge benefit the last year. And I think anybody and everyone that's ever taken leaps similar to this, moving, leaving your friends, leaving your family, leaving your home state, and exploring the world, would say the same, as there's immense amount of benefits in it, right? And there's this quote, when you get to the top of a cliff, when you get to the top of a mountain, when you find success, reach back and pull a couple people up with you. You can't take everyone, but pull a couple people up with you. Now, this theoretical cliff or mountain for me at this time is the recent years of my life. What I just talked about, the leaps that I have taken, the risks that I have taken, the move to Arizona, the switch to a lifestyle of work and progression over leisure and relaxation. Now, it's undoubtedly benefited me in an immense amount of ways. I've grown more in the last 2 years than I have in a long time, most likely, probably my entire life. And I want to pull people up with me. I want to grab some friends back with me. Some friends that may be stuck still in their home state in Nebraska. They just haven't gotten that push, but know deep down that they want to move, that they want to explore, that they want to take a risk. Okay? And I'm trying to get people onto this journey. I'm trying to reach back and pull some friends up from Nebraska and give them the little push they need. Because that comfort, without a push, you sit in that comfort and you're hindered, guys. You're hindered on one of the best, most beautiful experiences that life has to offer, and that is challenge and adversity and kind of growing in a new space. Starting anew, starting from scratch, becoming a new person. So I'm trying. Got some friends in a limbo back in Nebraska, and I'm trying to reach back. They know it's the move. A couple of them know it's the move. But there's just the excuses start to flood out when you ask these questions, guys. The excuses start to pour out because that's our natural inclination. Maybe these people haven't even thought about moving out. And they're like, wait a minute. Oh, no. Money, this girl. Guys, let's talk about this. I reached out to a friend to try to get him to move to Arizona. Graduating school, so probably around 20 years old. And the response was, one moment. And the first thing that I read on the text was, I have a girl that's still in college. Now, there was more to the text, but at that point, I pretty much shut down. Because I got an immense amount of anxiety. The idea that a 20-year-old young man or young woman would make a decision, would hinder themselves from exploring the world, from taking a leap, from experiencing a large range of benefits because of a relationship with an 18-year-old person or a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old man or woman is absolutely terrifying to me, family. Absolutely terrifying to me. I made it a point before I graduated college to get rid of any relationship I was in. All right? I needed to free up. I didn't want to hinder my chance. I didn't want anything else to be a factor in my decision. I knew I wanted to get out of Nebraska. I didn't want any anchor holding me back to influence my decision. So I ended a 1.5 year, it was like either 1.5 or 2 year relationship, because I knew in the large scheme of things, with the broader perspective, that it was 100% the move, no matter how emotionally damaged I felt at that time, no matter how hard this decision was at that time, I knew that it was good for me. Unfortunately, these people that I'm reaching out to don't have this perspective. And it terrifies me, guys. Okay, it terrifies me. It really has no effect on me. It's not the end of the world for me, but I want to help. I care about these people. I want to get them out. I want to provide them with the same journey that I went on, because I know that it'll be good for them in the long run. But I got a girlfriend. She's a junior. She's a sophomore. I'm going to hang around here and work a little bit. I'm going to hang around here for a couple years and work a little bit. Said everyone and anyone that has never left their hometown. So it's terrifying, guys. I can't help read something like that and lose hope for these people. Lose hope. You got to get out. You got to get out, man. Comes back to this idea that as a 20-year-old, this is a hot take. Here we go. As a 20-year-old, are you really in love? Because my bet is that you don't know what love feels like. Are you really in love? Or are you just very comfortable with having someone to rely on at the end of the day? Are you very comfortable having that emotional support from the opposite sex to come through on a hard day? Are you in love with the idea that during quarantine, that you have some sort of entertainment, that you don't have to sit in your apartment alone every day? Besides the fact that I think making decisions based on young love is stupid, making decisions, big, huge life decisions on young love during quarantine after a year of being locked in is definitely not the move. It's like buying a fucking dog during quarantine. Yeah, you have a lot of time to take care of your dog right now, pal. It's a really great idea now, but what happens when the world starts back up again? And now you have a dog that you keep in a kennel 12 hours of the day because you're working 2 jobs. Because quarantine's over and that luxurious lifestyle of leisure and relaxation that you were enjoying is no longer here. It's how I feel about this relationship thing, guys. We got to get out. We got to get out. There's a lot of beautiful women. There's a lot of beautiful men in this world. And there's a lot of years for a lot of us. A majority of the people listening to IB Monkeys are a young audience. There's a lot of years ahead of us. and you're missing out on opportunities. A lot of these dudes, a lot of these women are cashing in their checks. A lot of people are leaving the casino early. They won one table. This is probably a terrible example because gambling's terrible. But they won one fucking stack of chips and they're cashing in and they're leaving. They're saying, that's it, we're good. Let's buy a house, let's start a family. And it just fucking terrifies me, guys. But this idea of excuses flooding out when presented with a big opportunity is really across the board. Every friend I reached out to, maybe except one or two, was just, the money is an issue. Money is no excuse for me, guys. I moved to Arizona with $700. Now, I wouldn't suggest it for anybody. It was the most stressful period of my life, and I thought I was going to have to move back home for a while. But I did it. These MFers are talking about getting $10,000 to move. Okay, that's over the top. That sounds like an excuse to me. That sounds like a buffer to buy yourself more time to not make the decision, to not make the leap. Well, if you're thinking about moving out of a state, if you've been in a state your entire life, get out, guys. Get out. It's hard. I know you have family. I know you have friends. I know you're really comfortable right now. I know there's 100 other excuses that tell you that it's impossible for you to make the move, to take the leap, but it's not the reality. We are in the best spot of our lives to take crazy ass leaps, to take crazy ass adventures and max out this human experience and give ourselves some experiences and some valuable growth that we're not going to be able to get when we're 30, 40 years old. When moves, when leaps, when risks affect a lot more than just us. Okay, so now is the time. Now is the time. Go get it, family. Okay. Guys, I've been car shopping recently, and I just don't know what to do about this. My biggest issue is this. When I was in Nebraska, my idea of what was good enough for a vehicle, what was good enough for material possessions was amazing. You could have bought me a 2018 Honda Civic, and I would have been fucking hype as hell. What a beautiful car. What a beautiful car. This is nicer than a lot of the cars I've seen here in Nebraska. Wow, I'm so thankful for this. I'm so happy when I get in that car and drive it to work. I feel proud. I feel good about myself. Now that I moved to fucking Scottsdale, Arizona, if I get a Honda Civic, I'll hide my face on my way to work. Okay? I'll hide my face on the way to work. Now, this is a little extreme. Keep in mind, guys, I drive a totaled Lincoln, a 2004 totaled Lincoln. That has shit hanging off the sides, a body kit that's about to fall off completely, a leaking. Everything's leaking. Everything's leaking. And I just don't know, guys. I just don't know. It's rough right now. It's rough out here for the guy. So the idea now, what's good enough for me these days when it comes to vehicles, it's got me all fucked up. It's got me all fucked up. I'm car shopping right now. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm trying to figure out what's good enough for me, and nothing's good enough. I'm shopping for cars in the $15,000, $12,000, $10,000 range. What a wild little array I decided to put that in. But yeah, 10 to 15K. And majority of the cars just don't do it for me anymore. And I can't help but feel like, well, actually, I know that it has something to do with the fact that I see fucking 5 Ferraris on the way to work every day. That I see BMWs and Mercedes more than I see any other car every day. And what used to be good enough, what used to get the job done no longer gets it. My idea of what is normal is totally fucked, and it's starting to hinder my ability to buy a car. Here's the issue. If I search $10,000, $15,000 price range on cars.com, I get a wide variety of cars. Now, because cars are a depreciating asset and they drop in value extremely over time, I see Mercedes, I see BMWs, and I see Kias and Sions that are little boxes of, like little 3-foot boxes, all lumped together in one sum, all seemingly in my price range and ready to go. The problem is maintenance cost, of course. We've all heard the story. These foreign Mercedes, BMWs that are seemingly in my price range are a trap or a money pit going forward. Yeah, I can pay the cost to be the boss right now, but I will literally pay the cost in the next 5 to 10 years with maintenance repairs. But this hides. This hides underneath the surface, even though I'm aware of it right now in this very moment. Even though I'm aware of it when I'm shopping on cars.com. I want to ignore it when that Mercedes shows up for $12,000 with 50,000 miles and an insanely clean Carfax. I want to ignore it. No, this is the one. This is the one. I'll never get in an accident. I'll never have any issues. I'll never have to replace the transmission. I'll just have to take care of it yearly. It'll only be $300 every year. $600 every year. I'll be fine. This is the one. I know how to car shop. Other people don't. I know I can afford I can make the foreign work. But is this the reality, guys? Most likely not. So here in the next 6 to 12 months, I'm going to be purchasing a car, and hopefully I make a good decision. I don't know exactly what I'm going to end up doing. I know I should go for a shittier car, a shittier model, something a little safe, just to make sure I don't have to worry about pouring money into a vehicle just to look better, to feel better. But it's not even about other people's opinions, guys. It's not even about, for me right now, it's not about driving down the road and having people be like, whoa, that guy has a BMW. I don't care what these people think. Right now, I want to buy these nicer cars because when I get out of my apartment or my house and I walk to my car, I want to be proud of what I'm getting into. I want to sit in that car, drive it, and feel good knowing that I fucking worked my ass off every single night. Right after school, I got in my car and just went to work 16 hours a day grinding. I want to feel good about it, guys. I don't want to work 12, 14 hours a day to only 6, 12 months later get in a car that I'm not really proud of, that I'm not really that excited to drive, that I'm not really excited to bump some good tunes in. So it's fucking hard, guys. It's fucking hard. And I feel bad for dudes that have Volkswagen vehicles with blacked out custom rims. Why are you putting black custom rims on Volkswagens, dudes? Chill out, man. You're doing too much. You're doing too much. Why are you trying to customize and pimp out these shitty vehicles? It doesn't look good, man. It looks like you put bike spokes on your car. It looks like you put bike spokes on your car. No one wants to buy that. If I'm looking for a Volkswagen on cars.com and it has blackout rims, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not looking for a pimped out Volkswagen. If I'm trying to buy a Volkswagen, I'm trying to save money. I'm struggling. Okay, the only worse thing than struggling in life financially with a 10-year-old Volkswagen is to have a 10-year-old Volkswagen with black bike spokes on it as wheels, guys. We got to chill out on this. And if you have a Mustang, yeah, maybe pimp it out a little bit. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I don't really support it. But that's where I'm drawing the line. Anything less Honda Accords? Nah, man. Nah, Hondas, Mazdas, no. You're not allowed to put anything extra on it. Not allowed to put anything extra on it. You guys need to chill out. You're doing too much. All right? It's hard, guys. It's absolutely hard. Last week, we talked about luck. And I listened back to the episode. Every week, I edit everything for the podcast. I do everything for the podcast, so I have to go back and re-listen to the podcast. Not only is this necessary for production of clips and making sure that I put content out on the internet for potential avenues of growth for the podcast, but it's good to listen back to how things go. I'm extremely critical of everything that I do, and the podcast is no exception. I hear every slip up of words. I hear every mistake. Yeah, it's rough. It's honestly rough to listen to yourself. I'm sure you guys relate. No one really likes to listen to themselves talk. No one likes to watch videos of themselves, but I do it anyway. And I've been doing it for a couple years, so it's not as hard as it once was. Bottom line is I listened back to our conversation on luck last week, and I wasn't a big fan of it. And I think I was throwing a pity party for myself. I think I was in a particular rut last week that had me thinking somewhat negatively about it. Now, while I don't like the conversation as a whole, I do like some aspects. Luck is undoubtedly a role in success in life. Okay? Alexander Hamilton, the world's greatest race car driver, got lucky that he was born into a family with enough money to go that career path. For anybody that doesn't know, to be an F1 driver, you need millions of dollars to start. Those cars are not cheap, And you can't be a homeless guy that transitions into an F1 driver. You need to be born in a rich family with that opportunity. Alexander got lucky. He got lucky that he was spawned into the world under a rich family where he could start this career. Now, Alexander Hamilton is not lucky. He did not get lucky. His success is not of luck. There's no luck in the fact that he's the greatest I don't know how many championships he has, 5-time, 6-time championship F1 driver. Now, luck played a role in his journey to success. Is it the entire reason he's successful? Absolutely not. My point here is that last week I had this lens of constantly just looking at everything through this magnified of luck. I had this idea that luck played more of a role than it actually does. Because this game of patience, guys, I'm tired of being impatient. I want a break. Oh, I'm so sad, and I just need someone to help me out. And I don't like that. I don't like the message I was portraying. Okay, while there is some luck that's needed if this podcast wants to grow or break a certain threshold, it is not lucky. I don't need any luck. It is entirely dependent on my motivation and discipline to put out episodes of this podcast every week until the day I no longer can. 10, 20, 30 years down the road, wherever it may be. And I just didn't like it, guys. I just didn't like it. Yes, luck plays a role. Is it the entire story? Absolutely not. For some people, it's more of a story. It plays more of a role than others. Right? Just think about life in general. Where you were born, the luck of spawn and genetic gifts. Some people were just born with a limited brain capacity. Some people were born with disorders. Some people were born in extremely poor countries. They didn't win the draw. They got really fucking unlucky, and it is going to hinder their chances of success, absolutely. But is that the whole story? Absolutely not. And I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I think I have just the right amount of luck to make my dreams come true. And I need to stop being a little bitch about it. I need to stop being a little bitch about it in this room and just crying about how I need an opportunity for a break, that I need some famous dude to call out the podcast. No, we don't need that. We don't need any of that. No, we're going to keep grinding. And success and fortune finds those, or has more likely of a chance to find those who work their fucking ass off every day. So that's what we're doing. And we're going to stay on the path, and we're going to get off of this little pity party for myself about how I need to get lucky. I didn't like it. It disgusted me, guys. And I'm glad we get to tighten up the knots this week. All right. I'm glad we get to tighten up the I want to talk more about this eagerness I expressed last week, this disconnect between how much effort I'm putting into the game of life and how much I'm getting out. It ties into this last discussion, guys. It's a grueling process, to be honest, but I have faith. I have faith. Recently, I'm coming to the podcast, this idea of me being tired of being patient, this idea of me needing luck. It's all falling into this under the same umbrella, this common theme of I'm just tired. I'm just fucking tired of putting in work with no tangible results. And I think it's just a bad mindset to have. I do have results. I'm physically morphed completely. If I went home, or when I go home, my family's going to be amazed at what's happened to my body. If I went to go talk to an old college teacher, they'd be amazed at what's happened to my brain. This is all happening under the radar. And just because I can't tangibly grab it or look at it in the mirror and be like, holy shit, I'm deciding, my brain is deciding to override and ignore it completely and say, we have no results, we need more. And this is not a good attitude to have. And I'm absolutely tired of dealing with it, guys. I'm tired of dealing with it. Lastly, guys, I'm seeing a meme go around about the weekend mindset that a majority of humans have. And I've seen more than a few people post it, so I'm assuming you guys have seen it, and it goes something like this. It's a picture of Kevin Hart photoshopped out behind a quote of text. And this quote says, it's sad that so much of our society says, thank God it's Friday. Thank God 5 out of the 7 days of my life are over. Now I'm going to spend 2 of those 7 days drunk so I can forget about the last 5 out of the 7 days and not think about the upcoming 5 out of the 7 days. And I think we're all aware of this issue, right? This idea that life, if you're in a spot where 5 out of the 7 days where you don't like going to work, I feel like a fucking real sellout cuck for even making this discussion, but I have some specific points I want to bring up. We all know this is a bad lifestyle, and we all know a lot of fucking humans live it, right? Their job sucks. They wake up. They don't want to go. Every single day from Monday is a countdown to Friday so they can enjoy the weekends, get drunk, play video games, whatever it may be, in an attempt to forget about the next 5 days that they don't, in an attempt to forget about the shitty job that they have to go to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now, unfortunately, we're bringing this conversation full fucking circle, baby. Unfortunately, we're 23, 22, 21, 24, 28 years old. We don't have the luxury. We don't have the luxury of having our pick, our grand pick at whatever job we want, our career path. A lot of us are starting from the bottom, trying to edge our way up the totem pole, trying to get respect in our careers. Finance, education, fitness, whatever it might be. This is the system, guys. Yeah, this is a fucking awesome quote, and you can throw in really edgy comments like, thank God 5 out of the 7 days of my life are over, to make the impact of this quote more impactful, or the impact of this quote more visceral. But it's the system, guys. And for me personally, I have no weekends. This does not apply to me. Sometimes I work more on the weekends than I do the weekdays. Sometimes on Monday, I won't work at all. And Tuesday, I'll work for 16 hours. I have the luxury of not having weekends because my schedule is free. But that doesn't, I still sometimes look forward to the weekends, guys. And you know why? Because it's the system. Because all my friends, because the way our culture works is you work 5 days and you have 2 days off. My buddy can't hang out until Saturday. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Saturday because that's when all my friends are free. It's harder to hang out with friends on a Wednesday because they worked all day and they're fucking tired. No one wants to drink a little bit and hang out or they're less likely to want to drink and hang out on a Wednesday because they worked all day. They're tired. They have shit to do. They want to eat after work and so on. They want to work out. Of course we're looking forward to Saturday or Friday night because our boys are out. Our girls are out. Our squad's out. I don't think this idea of looking forward to the weekends is necessarily a bad thing, especially considering the structure of our society. This is how working as a human works. This is how the system is designed. And whether you're in this system or not, I think it's always at play. Now, does this mean that I think this is healthy? Absolutely not. If you go to work on Monday and it's a countdown until Friday because your job sucks, get the fuck out. Especially if you're listening to this podcast as a young person, take risks. Unless this is a necessary job for you to get where you want to be in your career. Unless you have a plan. Unless in 2 years you know you're going to get out because you know you're going to have the potential to switch up jobs. And that's just it's so easy for people to throw this title up and reshare it and be like, yeah, wow, this is so really, really shitty. But the same people posting this are the same people that have shitty jobs. There's not a lot we can do, especially as young adults. Now, if you're 30 and 40 in this situation, you fucked up, friend. You need to do something. You need to take a leap because your plan did not work. Okay, but it's the system. And even though I'm not in this, even though I enjoy what I do, and I'm not really, Monday or Saturday is irrelevant for me, pretty much. I still fall into this. Sometimes I do look forward to a Saturday because I know that people are going to be out and I'm going to have the opportunity to be more social. I know there's going to be more girls at the club on a Saturday. So yeah, of course I look forward to it. Of course I fucking look forward to it. Bottom line, guys, monetize your passions. Create a lifestyle where you can have some freedom. But yeah, I just don't think there's any way out of looking forward to the weekend in a world where working is designed around this Monday to Friday model. Okay? So I don't really think that quote is really all that awesome, to be honest with you guys. I think it might get people out of a rut, motivate people if it's necessary, but I don't think it's all that profound and instrumental in defining success. All right, guys. All righty. The Interplanetary Monkeys phone number, the IP Monkeys hotline is 602-892-4371. Call into that number. Do not expect me to answer the phone. Leave a voicemail. If you guys call in, I'm going to play it on the podcast. We're not getting a lot of calls right now. So undoubtedly, if you call in, it's going to be played back on the podcast. One more time, that is 602-892-4371. 4371. Much love, guys. Call in, talk about anything you want. You can talk about the fucking meaning of life, or you can talk about methods of cleaning your carpet. I really don't care. I want to hear who's listening to the podcast. I want you guys to get involved, and we're going to keep this going, guys. Viewership involvement is the absolute move. I want to know who's listening. Alrighty, guys. I think we're going to call it there. Nice little sturdy podcast. A nice little hearty podcast this week. I'm really enjoying things, feeling better than ever. Getting better at the content, getting better at production, getting better at talking, and I'm just really, really liking the direction we're going. If you're listening to the pod, guys, much love to you guys all. This is one of my favorite things to do in the world, and the fact that you're listening means that you're supporting a young man on his dream. You're getting out and helping a young man push his car on the side of the road. All right, you guys show up for me every week. I'm going to show up for you every week. You can bet your A on it. This is Hunter Klein. This is Interplanetary Monkeys, and I will see you guys next week. Peace, peace.